Previously on Tamed Gems.
The cyberbug arrived. We found out in order to find the source code, which is needed to complete the Supreme Bug's multiverse battery, I have to obtain map chip fragments scattered on 5 different planets in the digital dimension. Once I reassemble the map chip from all the fragments, we should have directions to where the cyberbug hid the code deep in the digital dimension. Hi, Tobug9 here, with another 10M video. As you can see, I've done far more than get the precision mechanisms that we needed at the end of last time, which is why I've called this episode the MEGASODE. To start with, I'd like to take you through some highlights of what I've done between episodes. First, I needed to upgrade my pickaxe with Fortune 3 and Mending to mine my first diamonds. I also bought some other stuff for the future, and may have used all my money, so we'll need to do something about that soon. Second, I needed more efficient transportation to gather resources faster, so I built a biplane. Here is some footage of my first test flight. During the flight, I noticed an unexpected side effect of Cloud 9. So if I place the biplane here... okay, this is really cool looking. I think if I shift right-click... yes, okay, we can't put weapons on it quite yet. But we can put that and that in here. There's also rooms for a couple more things there. And then we put the fuel in the fuel slot. And then that lights up. And I believe all we gotta do now is press the space bar to start the engine. And it should go off on us. Okay, speed up. Pressing down. Ah! It's stalling. Plane stalling. Oh dear. Okay, I think we're up. I hope. How we're gonna land is gonna be another story. How fast are we going through the charcoal here? Not too fast because of the advanced gears that we're using. Okay, let's see if we can maybe fly over our new lake. That wasn't this green when I built the waterfall last episode. I think maybe we should bring the plane in for a landing and climb up there using the ladders I used to build the waterfall. But yeah, flying without elytra, this is definitely quite the experience right now. We should definitely check out what's going on the top of that, though. How do I land this thing? Let me slow down a bit, maybe? Ha, there we go. Landed without crashing. I'd consider that to be a success. Now then, let's see what's going on up there. Moss blocks, flowering azalea, sourceberry bushes. Sourceberries. No clue what those do. Mage bloom. Dropped a seed. Sure, I'll replant it. What does this do? Grows from seeds crafted using the enchanted apparatus. But I don't have an enchanting apparatus. It also looks pretty lush in the lake, too. Got kelp and seagrass growing in there. That wasn't here last time. The only thing I can think of is maybe Cloud 9 that the cyberbug summoned in last time. Seems like the water from that has transformed the area on top of the mountain. Looks like it might have some sort of special property to revitalize areas. I'll have to keep tabs on this and see if this area expands at all in the future. But I suppose I have been wanting to get more into the magic mod, and it looks like magic plants have started growing up here. After my test flight, I built a base of operations, which was inspired by the time I lived on the space coast of Florida, close to the Kennedy Space Center, when the space shuttle program was still going on. It is why I named my area the Pillbug Space Coast. My base is modeled after the vehicle assembly building. I added a slight sci-fi twist by adding these glowing iron pillars to match the cyberbug. These pillars cost a ton of iron to make, and I didn't have time to mine it, so I decided to build an iron farm. Okay, so this is the iron farm that I built. So we have lava on top there, like that. We've got waterlogged drills along there, if you can see that real quick when it breaks. And then we got these brass funnels going into an item vault, which these are all coming off of here. Basically a cobblestone generator. It generates stone, it gets mined up, it goes into the item vault, it gets extracted here, goes up this conveyor belt, it gets crushed into gravel by the crushing wheels, and then it comes up this conveyor belt, goes through this barrel. The junk items get filtered into this storage system, because it occasionally produces some extra cobblestone and flint on the end here. And as you just saw there, this is filtering all of the gravel, which gets put back inside this system. If I run around the back, the gravel ends up back here, coming out of the item vault, you can see there, where it's washed by these fans, until it eventually turns into one of two things. It'll either turn into the iron nuggets, which is what we're trying to get, or it'll turn into some flint, which is not the most useful thing ever. The extra flint comes out here and gets burned in the fire, or makes its way into this chest eventually. And the iron nuggets come out this side and enter here, where the mechanical press presses the iron nuggets into ingots as soon as this fills up with 9. And then once there's an ingot in here, it gets pulled out of the basin and put in this collection chest down here. Not the most efficient iron farm, but it's running all the time as long as I'm in this area loading and I don't have to do anything to get the iron. So it comes in pretty handy. And made gathering those iron pillars take hardly any time at all, because I was able to collect the other materials to build the base while this thing was running, and then by the time I collected everything else, I had enough iron to make the pillars, as well as anything else that I needed. At this point, I realized I was spending far too much time trying to find items I needed in my disorganized chests. I decided to get into the storage mod we have on the server. Even though it was very expensive, it was worth it in the end, and it fit the theme of my base really well. Finally, I built all of the machines necessary for all the equipment we are going to need to successfully travel to space in the digital dimension. Okay, now what I would like to do is take you through just a few of the things that I did in a little bit more detail, particularly regarding the machines that I built and how I set up the storage system. It is quite complicated, the storage system, which is what we're going to start with here, but I'm going to try to keep this brief. I guess first off, there's cables that you have to connect everything together with. This is the controller here, which controls everything. We've got kind of the central mainframe here. You can make covers that cover on top of these cables to make them look just like normal blocks. This is what we did here to run these through the ceiling. The disk drive is where the items are actually stored. I made the biggest storage disk, which is partly why it was so expensive, and put it in here, but as you can see, we're only 17% full in here with that many items stored, so it should be a while before we have to upgrade that or put any more disks into the disk drive here. Of course, the system needs to be powered in order for you to see anything in the system. Right now it's not, because I have the generator turned off. The controller is the only one of these blocks that can be directly powered, at least in our pack that we're using here. If I break this block, you can see how I'm transferring the power. This is a coal generator from the Ad Astra mod, and I have it connected up to the bottom of the controller here. And this is a crafting terminal that allows me to craft directly in the terminal interface. Plug that back in and we'll turn this on so you can see what I'm talking about. If I put some coal in the coal generator, this system turns on because that controller back there started receiving power. And now we can access all the items that we have, put things in like that, pull things back out like so. I don't even know why I have that. And it's searchable. I have the search mode over here completely configured so that if I type anything in here, it also types it in this menu here, allowing me to craft things directly in this terminal using the not enough items interface. And that's pretty much how the storage grid works. As you can imagine, this is saving me a huge amount of time. Now, the next thing we're going over here is not quite as complicated. I made a space suit. As you can see here, we'll be using that hopefully soon. This is going to take buckets of oil, which I currently do not have any of, and process it into the fuel we need for the rockets. And it takes power, of course, in order to do that. I don't currently have the oil buckets, but as you can see, there is an oil well out there. So I can just take a boat out there to grab that easily in between episodes. And this thing is an oxygen loader, which is what we're going to need to put oxygen in the spacesuit, as well as the backup oxygen tanks. It takes water and power and makes oxygen. So if I just crank some of that in, you can see it kind of flickering in the bottom there. That's because it actually is using up the water faster than this pump pumps, unfortunately. But if I just crank this in, it cranks the water from there, puts it in there, and as you can see, the oxygen amount has gone up some from earlier. And then, of course, we've got the NASA workbench where we're going to be building the actual rocket. But that's pretty simple. And I suppose something that I did not show really in the time lapse is we got a runway out here for the airplane now, rather than just that big open area before we built the base that I used for the test flight. And I made this framed chest. That's all of the flying vehicles I've made are in there just for easy access. Those are the only items that I have not been storing inside of here. I need to patch this up, but for now, if you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like. If you really loved it, consider subscribing. And, well, that's it for me for today. My name is Probug9, and so long till next time.